Back in the early 70s, it was a battle of the bands, the Southern rock bands. Bands like the Allman Brothers Band, the Marshall Tucker Band, the Charlie Daniels Band, and of course, Wet Willie. Tonight, we've got two of the choice writers and performers from two of these now immortalized bands. We have Torrey Caldwell. He's leader and founder of the Marshall Tucker Band. And we have Jimmy Hall, lead singer, sax player, harmonica player from Wet Willie. The era of these bands may be gone, but they're not forgotten. And here to remind us of how good Southern rock was and how good it still is my friend Torrey Caldwell doing Heard It in a Love Song. Toy.
Never been with a woman long enough for my boots to get old. We've been together so long now they both need me so. If I ever settle down, it'd be my kind. That's a good sign for me to head on down the line. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Can't be wrong. I'm the kind of man that likes to get his way. I like to start dreaming about tomorrow. Never said that I loved you, even though it's so. Where's that duffel bag behind? It's time to go. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Can't be wrong. I'm gonna be leaving at the break of dawn. I wish you could come, but I don't need a woman tagging along. Gonna sneak out the door. I couldn't stand to see you cry. I'd stay another year if I saw a teardrop in your eye. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Can't be. Now I never had a damn thing but what I had to leave it behind. And you're the hardest thing I ever tried to get off my mind. Always something greener on the other side of that hill. I was born wrangling around her, and I guess I always will. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Can't be wrong.
Don't go away because we're getting ready to talk to Toy Caldwell and Jimmy Hall and find out about life in a Southern rock band. And Jimmy Hall. You know, Southern rock was big thing, the thing in the early 70s. How did it get started? Who started it? Where did it come from?
We were just thinking about that. The fact that we were really lucky I think to have the Allman Brothers kind of break the way. You know, they were real trendsetters at that time. And they came out and just started a whole new style. And we were, the Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker, and Wet Willie were the first Southern rock bands, you know, back in those days in Macon and on Capricorn Records.
A lot of it was like a family thing. Toy, you and your brother started Marshall Tucker Band, and Wet Willie was you and your brother.
Yeah, me and Jack.
And of course, the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
We all know them. So I guess you had to be born into it.
Seemed like that was the case, didn't it?
Raised it down there. Now, the Marshall Tucker Band had a lot of big hits. I mean, gang of them, you know. How many of those did you write, Toy?
I wrote all of them.
Oh.
You sure did.
Yeah, I wrote up, I'd say 99% of everything we ever did, you know, on albums and everything.
When y'all was starting out, well, how did you travel around? You know, we're talking big bands. We're not talking about a three-piece combo. How'd you get that whole thing around? I know you wasn't making much money, probably.
No, we really weren't.
$700 a day.
I think we all started in vans, didn't we? Just small little vans, you know.
They bought us our first station wagon, Ford station wagon. Then you graduate to a van, see.
Yeah.
Then you graduate to a motorhome. Then we had a Dodge motorhome. And then about that time you start thinking, well, how about a bus? You know, after all this, we deserve a bus.
Yeah, buses were something kind of new back then for, especially not straight country acts, but kind of country rock bands like us. You know, they either jets and airplanes, but we always liked the idea of having a bus like the country people did because it just looked like it was more comfortable. So that's what we did.
Well, I've been country all my life, and I never could afford a bus. I still can't. I got one, but I can't
I don't
afford
think anybody really can afford a bus.
I think
to get a bus.
You have to stay on the road all the time to make the payments and,
I know it.
and afford it. I know that's what happened to Wet Willie. I mean, we got in a bus and we said, man, we got it. Now what are we gonna do with it? You know, let's go work.
And when you were writing songs, Tori, I've been meaning to ask you this. How do you go about writing it? Because these songs are not your normal everyday run of a country song, and they've got all these great, pretty changes in them.
Well,
did you have the band in mind, or did you work it out with the band?
Well, normally, no. I had the arrangement pretty well in my head, you know, when the band got a hold of it. But I've always had I'm kind of like Jimmy too. It's a lot of different influences. I love country music. That is my, you know, my main type of music I like. But I like the other influence, like the Bob Wills type things, the jazz. You know, I mean, I like all the influences you can put into a country song. It can still, if the person's country, it'll come out country no matter what you try to do with it. And my songs, maybe I'll use a major seventh chord instead of the straight old D chord, or maybe just put a little, just kind of Las Vegas it up a little bit, as I say, you know, put a little Vegas in it or something. Showgirls. But I just like playing around with a little jazz, but I still like the basic, simple relationship gone bad type thing of a country song, you know.
Well, yeah, you can hear that in the lyrics. I mean, they're pretty macho lyrics in some of those songs.
Yeah, I've got a lot of
Look
mail.
at this guy here.
I've got a lot of mail from women, especially that I don't need a woman tagging along for it.
right.
I didn't mean it that way. I just
Yes,
meant,
you
you know.
did too. I can tell by looking at you.
No, you ain't either.
You know, what was it around about early 70s? Women's web, you know, became more of an issue, and you kind of get called on something like that sometimes.
How did we get into this conversation?
I don't know. Next.
Now we got a woman running the show down here. So
There we go.
Right. Next.
Next.
No, Tori, you and I done some shows together, and my little girl, well, I took her with me on
Yeah.
one of the shows, and she became best of friends with your daughter.
Right.
She said today, she knew that you were going to be here. She said, be sure and tell him to tell Cassie that I said hello. They're friends forever.
That's right. That's what they were. They got off the bus and they saw each other, and that was it.
Yeah.
You know.
Straight to the swimming pool. Forever friends. And Jimmy's got that coming because he's got his family starting. And,
Oh, yeah. I had a 3.5-year-old boy. I got 2 boys now.
right.
So I'm in for it, huh?
Yeah, but you'll love every minute of it.
Oh, it's great.
We're going to have a little taste of that Marshall Tucker band, a little more of it.
You got it. You get all you want.
We're going to take a little break and when we come back.
Okay.
You got to do it. So don't anybody go away because when we come back, we're going to hear about this old cowboy.
Yeah.
Sitting down in San Antonio, waiting on an 8 o'clock train. Oh, my woman left me here last night. Things ain't been quite the same. I gotta get back to Dallas, load type few loose ends. I'm gonna work a week, make $100. Hit the road again. I don't want you to think that you're the first one to leave this old boy out here on his own. Cause this ain't gonna be the first time this old cowboy spent the night alone. Been a fool, but a bigger fool. I can't remember when I've been. Just to open up my heart and let you walk right in. There's one thing in life, honey, Lord, that ain't hard for me to do. And that's as soon as I kiss the lips of another woman, I'm gonna forget all about you. I don't want you to think that you're the first one to leave me out here on my own. Cause it ain't gonna be the first time this old cowboy spent the night alone. A little fiddle playing here. This old cowboy spent the night alone. Yeah, take it home, boy.